Okay, good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining us tonight. This is our Building Your Toolbox. It's a monthly educational series where individuals learn a pain management strategy or skill. And tonight we're happy to be joined by guest presenter Jess Napier, who will talk to us about chair yoga. My name is Michelle Rice, and I have lived with chronic pain for over 20 years, and I am the patient engagement lead for US Pain Foundation. And joining me is Bobby Blades, a longtime support group leader. And let's see, slide 2. Thank you. So the US Pain Foundation is committed to improving the lives of people with pain. Our mission is to empower, connect, and advocate for individuals, kids, and adults living with chronic illnesses or serious injuries that cause pain, as well as their caregivers and clinicians. The organization develops free programs and services to help individuals. Our programs include a national network of peer support groups, educational resources and events, a pediatric program for children and families, advocacy efforts, an awareness magazine called The Invisible Project, and more. To learn more or to get involved, you can visit us at uspainfoundation.org. Next slide. Okay, so tonight is all about understanding chair yoga. Some of the things we will learn include what chair yoga is and how it may help improve flexibility, range of motion, and decrease discomfort and pain, how poses can be modified and adapted to fit individual needs, and a handful of chair yoga poses that can be utilized in a daily practice. To close, we will open it up for a Q&A. Next slide, please. So before we begin, I want to go over a few of our logistics, and I'm going to hand this over to Bobby.
Thank you. So for housekeeping, all participants are on mute for the first portion of this evening. Questions will be taken at the very end. During the Q&A, please raise your hand or raise your hand using the icon at the bottom of your Zoom screen. If you go down to the bottom of your Zoom screen, sometimes it shows reactions. If you click on that, it will have you raise or lower your hand. Someone needs to be muted, I think. There's some. Okay, great. Please keep questions on topic as much as possible. If responding to another participant, be careful not to rescue or give advice. We're here to validate and support each other. Remember, different treatments work differently for everyone, so please be respectful of other opinions. And then please remute yourself once done speaking. Next slide, please. Okay. The disclaimer tonight is that the event is educational only. The thoughts and opinions expressed by our guest presenter are their own and do not represent the thoughts or opinions of US Pain Foundation or its affiliates. The information is not meant to take the place of your healthcare provider. You should always consult with your practitioner about your unique health situation. The US Pain Foundation does not recommend or endorse any one therapy, treatment, or product. If you feel that your medical condition or conditions are adversely affected by your participation in this webinar tonight, or if you're viewing it later, it is your responsibility to discontinue participation and to immediately consult with your own healthcare provider. Thank you.
Thank you, Bobby. So I am really excited to introduce our guest presenter for tonight. Jess Napier has been teaching yoga and meditation for 15 years. Her classes are accessible, grounding, and balanced. She believes mind matters most and that there's no right or wrong way to do the poses as long as you feel good. Jess, thank you so much for being here. We're really happy to have you with us tonight.
Thank you so much for having me. Hello, everybody. I'm so excited to be here with you all. Thank you for inviting me to be here with you all. So let me just start with I want to reframe this word yoga because I think that is um, a scary word for a lot of people, especially the way that yoga is often portrayed in magazines, on TV, the way we see it. And so, although I came to yoga in that scary way, at some point on my yoga journey, I thought this is not sustainable and it's not accessible. And so my yoga journey really started to shift, and I've taken to just calling it movement. We're going to move and we're going to do shapes together. And because we all come to this practice with different histories, different abilities, different levels of pain, different relationships to our body, the shapes are not going to ever look the same for any two people. So I will be talking about something, and we will get into a chair. I've got my chair back here. We will get into a chair, um, and I'll offer suggestions and guidance about let's try and put the body this way and this way. But I'm not going to look the same as Barbara, the same as Wendy, the same as Teresa. And Teresa and Wendy and Barbara aren't going to look the same either because of what I was just talking about, right? So we have to be in it for our own experience and be willing to explore how the shape might work best for each of our own bodies. When we get into the shapes, of course, you can feel free to leave your camera on or turn it off, whatever you need to do. Obviously, mine will be on there as a guide. But again, just you can kind of notice what I'm doing in my body and then give your eyes a rest. Because once we're in the shape, there's nothing really interesting that I'm doing in the chair that you'll need to be looking at the screen for. So you can really just, give your eyes a rest, take a break. We're on our screens enough as it is. Now, why a chair? So these shapes can be done in all kinds of different ways. And the poses that we will do, you could target those poses on the ground or leaning against a wall. The chair creates just a very nice support, one, for the back. Okay, so if you're coming in with any kind of back issues, you have support there. And you can also grab a pillow, a blanket, anything additional that would be a soft cushion. And there will be no right or wrong way on how you use those things, as long as you're able to position them in a way where when you kind of lean in, you have that, okay, I feel supported here, that feeling. The chair is also very nice for, some folks, when you recline and you lie flat, it can create a dizzy feeling. So by staying on the incline, the chair helps you to access the shapes without feeling dizzy or nauseous or any of the other things that might be triggered or come up. So this is why we will stay in the chair. By doing chair yoga, we'll move the body in certain ways where we're looking to just extend the range of motion. So there's this theory of the Goldilocks principle, right? Not too much, not too little. So we want to lengthen the range of motion, but we're not trying to force anything. Okay. So you want to get into the poses in a way where it feels interesting. There's something interesting happening in the body. It's more than just sitting, but where you're not struggling. You're not exacerbating anything or creating any kind of additional struggle or challenge in the body. Does that make sense? You can just kind of nod your head if your camera's on. Yeah. So we're looking for that place that's just right in the middle where the poses feel like they're doing something in the body, but they're not adding stress to the body. One thing that folks will ask about as we do the movement is, how am I supposed to breathe? Okay. In this practice, I will encourage natural breath. So just breathing naturally in and out of your nose. If you're able to, in and out of your nose. If you can't breathe through your nose, of course, breathe through your mouth. We want you to breathe, right? But if you can breathe through the nose, and start to notice the breath. Okay, so you don't have to breathe in a special way, but just noticing the inhale and noticing the exhale. And what that does when we start to notice the breath is it causes us to think about something other than the grocery list. What's for dinner? What do I have to do before I go to bed? What's on the calendar for tomorrow? We're just thinking about the breath. It's something tangible and very simple to calm the mind. The other thing folks will ask about is, where am I supposed to look? Where should my eyes go? My first suggestion is close the eyes. If you're in a place where it feels safe to do so, close the eyes. One of the first signs of relaxation is the ability to close the eyes. Okay. So most of us don't naturally know just how to relax. Like, you ever tell you, relax, relax, take it easy. It's like, well, if I could do that, then I would just do it, right? Well, we actually have to practice relaxation. And so one of the first ways we do that is just, okay, I can close my eyes here. So that's why I said, once you get into the pose and you kind of know where you're going, if you can, close your eyes. And just to know that relaxation is a habit, and doing practices like this are habits. So if we have these habits in our bodies, it's not going to take one class to kind of start to create new habits. We have to do those things over and over and over again to start to learn to relax, to start to do things differently in the body. Okay. So that's my spiel before we get in the poses. So if you're not there already, start to move into your chair.
And I just want to remind everyone, if you're going to move, go ahead and shut your camera off while you're moving for those who are sensitive to movement.
Thank you, Michelle. And then we're starting just in a meditation. And so you're just going to come into a comfortable seat. For me, that looks like leaning back against my chair. And it means resting the occipital ridge. So, that hard part at the base of my skull on the back of my chair. Now you're welcome to explore in your body how that looks for you. It could be adding a blanket, adding a pillow. Let your hands rest anywhere that's comfortable. And then you'll take a big breath in and then open your mouth and exhale. And then again, breathe in through your nose. Open your mouth and release. And just notice as you exhale, if you can feel the muscles get a little bit heavier. So you sort of dip further back into your chair. So you let the chair hold you. So again, breathe in and breathe out. And just let your bones be heavy. And allow your breath to be light. Natural breath in and out of the nose. Notice if you can soften your jaw. Notice if you can take the tongue off the roof of your mouth. And soften the space around your eyes. And as we move in and out of the shapes, the entire experience is really a meditation. And, the point of meditation isn't for your mind to be, void of all thoughts. It's kind of impossible. Just like the body knows to breathe, the mind knows how to think. So the point of meditation is just that you'll notice the thoughts. You'll notice the kind of thoughts that come in and out. And as you're in your seat, you're just going to take your hands and you're going to bring them onto the corners or the edge of your chair. And then from here, you're going to round your spine and tuck your chin into your chest, like you're an angry cat on Halloween. Just rounding the spine. And then you're going to use the hands on the chair to pull the chest forward now. So we're going to move in the opposite direction. So this is called cow pose. Okay, so I'm pulling my shoulders back. Shoulders roll down the spine. I'm creating space between my shoulders and my ears. And then again, I'm going to round the spine, tuck my chin to my chest, and come back into cat pose. And then I'm going to inhale, coming back to cow pose, chest forward, shoulders down. And then exhale, back to cat. Inhale, pull the chest forward, cow. Exhale, round the spine, cat. And we'll take 2 more full rounds. Inhale, chest goes forward. Exhale, chin to your chest. Last round, breathe in, chest lifts. Exhale, round the spine. And then come back up to neutral. And from here, we're going to move into a twist. So you're going to take your knees out to the right. Okay, so you're going to sit with your thigh parallel to the edge of your chair. If you're in a chair that doesn't do that, it's okay. I'll give you another way to do it in just a second here. But if you're in a chair like mine, you're going to take your hands over to the right, bring them onto the edge of the chair, and then you're going to look at your hands. Okay, so here's the twist. If you're in a chair where you can't swing your legs to either side, that's okay. You're just going to take your hands over to the right side of your chair and look over towards your right shoulder. If that does not feel good for your neck, you can tuck the chin to the chest. Again, always closing the eyes. Okay, so either of those versions. And then remember that Goldilocks principle. So you're not pulling, you're not forcing. You're just finding a spot where there's enough that it's piqued your interest. You can feel your body experiencing something interesting. Again, the point of the shapes isn't to add struggle. So if you get to the point where you're like, oh, this hurts, it doesn't feel good, you back off, do a little less. Good, and then you're going to switch sides. So if you're in a chair like this that has an opening on either side, take your body over to the other side. Hands are going to come over to the left shoulder, onto the chair, and you'll twist. Okay. If you're in a chair without the opening, keep the legs forward and just take the hands over to the left and bring the chin over toward the left shoulder. And then in these moments of stillness, you can start to scan the body. And as you scan the body, you're just looking for the parts that naturally hold tension and the parts that naturally feel soft and free. And as you get to those points where you feel a little bit more tension, by bringing your attention to it, just notice if you're able to soften around it just slightly, even if it's just in your mind's eye. And then release. Good. Coming back to the center. And then from here, you're in your seat facing forward. It's going to take the shoulders up to your ears, round them down your spine, making circles. And just notice if each time you bring the shoulders down, if you're able to create a little bit more space, a little bit more length in your neck. Maybe you get the feeling that each time you drop your shoulders, you're sitting up just a little bit taller. And then we'll move the shoulders in the opposite direction. So you're going to take them up to your ears, point the heads of the shoulders forward, bring them down, back, and around. Good, and then drop the shoulders down. Tuck your chin towards your chest. I'm just going to make circles moving clockwise. Bring the head all the way around. Yeah, definitely here, close the eyes. Generally, as a rule, the slower you go, the more that you'll feel. And then also, the easier it is to move purposefully. So you'll know if you find a spot that you should avoid. Maybe there's a sweet spot that feels, extra good and you can linger there for a moment. And then you'll switch directions, moving counterclockwise. And then come back up to neutral. Take a breath in and a breath out. And from here, you're going to lift your right leg up, and rest your right ankle over the left thigh. So you're stretching your right hip here by taking the ankle up. Now, if this feels like you're like, oh, I can like really feel my hip here, then stay right here. You could lean back. If you get to this point and you think, I'm not really feeling all that much here, you can start to lean forward so your forearms come onto your thighs. Sort of like the more that you lean forward, the more you're going to feel the stretch through the hip. And then as a bonus, you can start to turn the right ankle. The stretch is really in the hip, but if you're looking for a little movement, a little something more, just moving all range of motions, just roll the right ankle. Well, also for some of us, being still for a long time can be anxiety producing. So finding little micro movements like rolling the ankle can be very comforting. If you're rolling the ankle, you can roll it in the other direction. Good. And then you'll sit up, release the right leg. You can extend the leg for a moment just to, when the knees are bent for a while, it can be a lot on the legs. So just to release, you can point and flex the toe, the toes, and then you'll switch legs. So take the left ankle over. And then because the body isn't symmetrical, this side may feel completely different for you than the other side. Maybe on the other side, you were sitting up, and on this side, you're finding that you're going to lean forward. So be willing to explore them as a completely, new experience here for this side. And then if it felt good to roll the ankle, you can roll the ankle again. And change directions. And then you'll release, sitting back up. Again, extend the left leg, just to give the knee a break and flex and point the toes. Good. And then from here, just going to scoot forward so that you're able to take your right heel. Can't really see my heel all that well, but your right heel's on the ground and your foot's flexed towards your face. So my right leg is straight, my left knee's bent, and then I'm just going to bow forward. So I'm still sitting in my seat, and I have one straight leg and one bent leg. You start to feel into the hamstrings, And then you can switch sides. The left leg is straight, so my left heel's on the ground, my left toes are pointing back towards me, and my right foot on the ground, and I'm going to bow forward. Good, and then start to lift back up. Slide back into your seat. And then just like that first movement we did when we started, so we're moving towards, our final rest. But before we get there, we're going to go back into the cat-cow. So pulling the chest forward as you breathe in, rounding the spine as you breathe out. So inhale, the chest lifts. Exhale, round the back. Breathe in, pull forward. Breathe out, cat pose. 2 more rounds. Inhale. Round the spine, exhale. Breathe in, chest is forward. Breathe out, curl and squeeze. Good, and then come back up to neutral. And you can start to lay back into your chair. Again, if it feels good to rest a pillow behind your head or lean into the top of your chair. And we'll take a big breath in. Open your mouth, exhale. And as we come into this final resting, we're going to use a style of breath called box breathing. And so box breathing is really wonderful to do before you go into bed or while you're in bed. And the way it will look is we'll inhale for a count of 4. So we'll inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we'll hold the breath at the top for 4. We'll exhale for 4. And then we'll hold the breath at the bottom for 4. And I'll guide you through it. So take a breath in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath at the top. Relax the shoulders. 1, 2, 3, 4. Empty all the air out. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath at the bottom for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Take a big breath in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold at the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time together. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then inhale. Do 1 round on your own. 4, 4, 4, and 4. And then return to your natural breath in and out of your nose. Allow the eyes to stay closed. If you're in a place where it feels safe to have the eyes closed, and start to let your eyes flutter to open. And if you want to turn your camera back on, you can turn your camera back on. And then when you're ready, I welcome any questions.
Yes, thank you so much. That was really, really amazing. I even was writing notes when you were talking at the very beginning. There were things that you had said that I actually hadn't heard before. I liked when you talked about the Goldilocks principle. A lot of us with chronic pain, right, or type A personalities want to get everything perfect and do the most that you can. And so it was really great to hear you talk about that. I also liked when you talked about noticing our breath, and it wasn't just as a form of relaxation that we hear a lot, but that it can help you to not be thinking about your to-do list. And I thought that was such a great idea. So I just wanted to thank you for showing all the different modifications. I actually felt like I was able to participate in the entire routine that you just showed us, which was really wonderful. And it's just always great to have a new tool in our toolbox.